Hi guys, my name is Ashley and this is Kingdom Culture, where we use the tools that Jesus gave us to walk in victory in our lives. Over the past couple of months, I have experienced some curveballs and quite honestly some discouragement that it took a lot of fight for me to get up from that and continue on in what I believe God has given me and my ability to speak to others and to encourage them. I found this job for a health educator in the area that I stay in, and I was like, oh, this is great. It's a government job. This is the area I love. Public health, I love social aspect of that. I love speaking to people. I love helping them. And I have a great, background in health and education and medicine. So this is going to be great. This is going to be perfect for me. So I applied for the job and I was like, not sure if I was going to get it, but I still applied. And I'm like, you just gotta put yourself out there. You got to see what's going to happen. And so got a call back for an interview, did the first initial phone interview. It went well. They told me a few days later, hey, we want to invite you back for a Zoom interview. And then you're going to do a presentation over the topic of that we give you. And did that interview, did the presentation. I mean, y'all, I don't think I ever had a better interview in my life. I was like, oh, this has got to be God because this is great. This interview is going so great. Everything went well. I mean, I was just so thoroughly pleased and I felt like I killed it. And lo and behold, a few days later, they were like, hey, we would love to extend this position to you. Would you like to accept? Is this start date a good day for you? I'm like, yes. They were like, okay, cool. You got the job. I was like, I got the job. I could finally get an apartment. I could finally get a house. I could finally get the computer that I need for my business and all of that. And I was just like, yes, I'm finally out of this place of feeling like, just the effects of this poverty, like growing up in that, and it's just following me everywhere. Like it's just one of those things that you just gotta fight. And I was like, yes, I'm finally out of the cycle. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And I was praising God literally in this room, praising Him, thanking Him, and I was just so happy. And I was telling my boyfriend, I'm like, hey, I got it, babe. He was like, yes, I know, I knew you would. And I was just very happy. And then they were like, okay, cool. So just send over your transcripts and these references. Went to get up and get my transcripts, got one from my undergrad, went through all the loops, but got, had it sent. And then I needed an official transcript for my master's degree. And I logged in, finally was able to log in because it took, I don't know what was going on, but I could not get in there. Logged in, tried to get my transcript or see it even just to see it. And I had a hold on my account. I said, oh my God, what is this? And so I looked at what the hold was and it was like, it's a financial hold. You have an outstanding balance of, it was, I want to say at the 14,000, it was like $14,000. And I was just like, oh my God, it's because I didn't finish out that semester and I didn't have financial aid that semester. Long story short, I ended up not passing one of my classes, tried to retake the one class I didn't pass, ended up not being able to afford to stay in school because I couldn't pay because it wasn't enough credit hours to get financial aid. So after all of that, I had to drop out because I didn't have the money to pay and they weren't going to let me keep going. So I let go of that, even though that was my dream. I was like, I let it go because there's nothing I can do. Don't get me wrong. I prayed and fasted. I did all the things, but it didn't work. It didn't work out for me. And so when I realized that's what it was from, y'all, my heart just about broke into a million pieces because that meant that I was stuck and it meant I could not take this job. And so, I called the people and I was like, hey, listen, is there a way I can get this official transcript with this hold on my account? And they, in so many words, they were like, no, we can't do it unless you pay. And I was like, clearly I don't have it. So So I called, the hiring manager or the people that, the secretary for our office, and I said, look, I can't get this official transcript. Is there any way we can just suffice with my bachelor's? And this was something that my friend suggested to me. Hey, just tell them about you have your bachelor's. Just tell them that. And they were like, with the experience that we need, your experience is tied to your master's. And since we can't get that master's, we cannot give you this job. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? I just had the job yesterday. Okay, I had it yesterday. What are you talking about? So I was just heartbroken. I was heartbroken. This was like, had to be a week and a half ago when this happened. I was heartbroken. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm stuck. I am stuck. I can't even use my degree. What good is a master's if I can't use it? Like, I'm laughing about it now, but I was discouraged because I had been living in Airbnb since 2020, trying to fight to get a job that pays me enough to where, in Georgia, you have to make 3 times the rent in order to get an apartment. So on my little hourly wage jobs, I have not been even coming close to that. So I was just like, I'm so tired of living like this. I can't get, my computer died on me a few months ago. Can't even get to any of my work. And I was just like, I can't even get a new computer, and I actually need it for my business, doing graphics and video editing. I'm just like, I'm so tired and I'm so stuck. So for 3 days, I would say 2.5, maybe 3 days, I just was like extremely down. I was extremely distraught. I was extremely hurt. And I mean, I cried just about every day for a considerable amount of time. I had little to no motivation. I felt like I was just on a binge, and I was just like, our church is in the middle of a fast, and I was like, I'm gonna eat whatever I want today. I'm gonna eat because I'm upset. And it was just very disheartening. But my boyfriend, he's very, and the people that have been praying for me over, my jobs and things like that and finances, they have been very, very, encouraging and, encouraging me to not, take defeat, to not be discouraged, to not, to always remember that God has something for me, and every, rejection is redirection, all the things that I do know. But in that moment, I just was not hearing it. I was not hearing it. And, my boyfriend is, he's consistently in my face, or in my life rather. And so, he's day in and day out telling me, better is coming. Don't worry. More is coming. Your time is coming. Don't worry. Which has been very, very helpful. And so one day I woke up and I finally was like, okay, I need to get a handle on this because I'm not well right now. And so I, was getting ready. I think I was detangling my hair after washing it. And I just put on this message from Sarah Jakes Roberts, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts. And it was a message talking about suffering and things like that, and how it's connected to purpose and, your calling. And then I heard the subsequent message by Dr. Matthew Stevenson about building or rebuilding, especially building something that God tells you to build even after discouragement and shame and guilt and embarrassment, which is all the things I had been feeling. Because you have to remember, like, me leaving medical school, that was something that, it hurt, but I learned to compartmentalize it to that specific space and time, right? I was like, okay, that hurt, yeah, but I'm going to confine this to the year 2019. Like, I'm not going to take it anywhere else. But so, me going through trying to get that transcript, it brought up all of those feelings of shame and of embarrassment and of guilt and of hurt. And of all the pain associated with that. Because, I mean, even in that time, guys, I don't talk about it much, and maybe I'll do a separate video on it, but there were some people in my life that I did ministry with, that I was there for in their times of need. They were not there for me. When I tell you, I went through this, and I felt like I was abandoned by people that I stood up for. And so it was just hurt and everything, surrounding that. It just, that moment just brought up all of those things. And so, that sermon really helped me because it taught me about the importance of just being resilient and learning how to get up and stay the course for wherever it is God has told you to do. And so, I was like, I have not been uploading videos. I haven't been doing my apparel, like all of those things. And I was like, I need to get it together. All that to say, that helped to build in me this, or to stir up in me this resilience and this desire and drive to go after the things of God. And then also too, I'm grateful for the fast that my church is in because it really fueled my prayer life even more, because I haven't been contending in prayer for some of these things like I used to. Because I realized for a while, and not just that moment that I got that news, but for a while I had been walking in discouragement. So much so that I was just kind of like going with the flow, and especially with these jobs, and trying to scuffle to get the finances I need. I had been really, really busy. And that busyness is a tactic of the enemy to distract you from the things that God has called you to do. So I want to preface some of the tools of resilience that I had to employ during that time of discouragement. And those were worship, prayer, studying the Bible, reaching out to others, and listening to sermons. Now, all of these were so very, very important. When you think about worship and prayer, it takes a certain level of fight to get through that. Because sometimes when you're singing the words or you're praying, it doesn't necessarily feel like what you're singing or praying about is true or that it's happening. But in moments of discouragement, what you want to do is you want to take that song, you want to sit down or stand or whatever you normally do, and you want to let those words resonate in your heart. You want to think about those words. You want to picture those words in your mind. And in that, you are allowing your heart to really open up and really be broken down from the hardness and callousness of the discouragement or everything that's happening before you. You also want to get in the word. You cannot forsake the word in that season. One of the things that I really like to do is I like to go back to moments in Jesus's lifetime or some of the other greats in the Bible, like Paul, their lifetime, some of those moments where they went through discouragement. I take a look at how they handled it, what they said, what they did, what did their heart, go through in that time. And I really look at those moments and how they responded. And I try to take from what they did and apply it to myself. You also want to reach out to others, because one of the things you don't want to do is go through that time isolated. So you want to reach out to people that you can trust, people that you know that are going to spend their time praying for you in the spirit, and are going to spend their time really diligently checking upon you and giving you encouragement. And I have some of those people in my life. And so what I did was I said, hey, I'm struggling with discouragement right now. And I'm wondering if you can just pray for me. And usually they'll, either send me a text message right back, or they'll give me a call, and they will, pull out the scriptures, from their lifetime, from the things in the Bible that they know and remember. They'll give me testimonies from their own life. So it's really about connecting with those people who, are, in some ways more spiritually mature than you, who can really pray you through this season. And you don't want to allow shame or anything to get in the way of you reaching out to them. You want to really, 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 lay pride aside and have them connect with you in whatever way possible. And then for me, listening to sermons is so very important. And it's sermons on this particular topic, how to overcome discouragement, how to overcome whatever you're facing. And in that time, you want to not only do these things on, for a one-time thing, you want to up your dosage. So, double your time in worship or prayer, double your time in studying the Bible, be more intentional about that time. For me, when I was doing Uber Eats, I would do that in the evenings. That would be my time where I would listen to sermons. Instead of listening to music, I'm like, no, let me listen to some sermons. Let me, spend some time in prayer when I'm on my commute back home. I, turn on prayer instrumental and I pray. That is what you want to do. And we'll talk about this a lot more in upcoming videos on resilience. But I wanted to definitely give you some tools of how to overcome discouragement. Join me right here next time on Kingdom Culture.